Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is June 14th, 2017, and today is Wednesday. So looking at the economic events of the day, some big events coming out at the end of the day. We'll start out with that because it's so big. 8 o'clock this evening, South African time, US dollar. FOMC Fed decision on the Fed rate. Okay, that's a major number. So we'll look at what's expected and we'll look at what's going on in the markets. But first this morning, so we have a 10:30 a.m. South African time average earnings index coming out of the UK. We'll look at the GBP and how it's been faring the past couple of days. And then at 2:30 South African time, US dollar core retail sales and core CPI numbers. Both very important numbers, but let's see how they actually play out to the markets. Market's been very strong. And then at 4:30 South African time, weekly oil inventory numbers, and we'll see how that'll work out. So let's see what's been going on. So we're going to start here with the Euro USD as we normally do. Not much going on here, just to know that we're trading within the range, okay? Really very tight range this week, actually. Just about, about 13 to 14 pips, 15 pips range, which is, very difficult for trading. As you can see here, we bounced off towards the end of last week, and then, not, like I said, it's a very tight range. So, not much going on the Euro USD until it either hits one of these two other ranges, top of the ranges or the bottom of the range. I don't see somewhere where you can jump in really aggressively. Now this is obviously because it's quiet before the storm. The Fed decision tonight has a lot to do with this, so let's see how this actually reacts during the day. Now what you do have to have in mind though is the parameters on our extreme side, because what happens is in today's type of trading is that we have an extreme move one way or the other, but we're still responsive to our levels. Okay, so we may rally up to 112.82 and then sell off. We may go down to 116 and we may sell off 111.16. So this is something you got to keep in mind and keep a really good mental note of the extremes and some of the levels, because usually in this type of market where we have some sort of major news, there's one of three things that happen: either nothing, which is rarely the case, okay, or you have number two, you have an extreme move up or down and then a correctional move, okay, and the last possibility is that you have a move in one way or another, either up or down, and then you continue going up in in that direction, but trickling up and trickling down. The most common one is the second one, because that's a reactionary move. So just that you're more aware of it and prepared trader just to know, okay, these are the levels, this is where I think we can correct, and that's what we saw with the GBP USD last week. So let's look at the GBP USD. We sold off even more earlier this week. We hit 126.45. Now this isn't a case in point, right? I had this support level already up for a couple of days at 126.45. It's a entry position. It's just there as a guide to tell me where is there a possible time for me to enter. Now we're almost back to our reactionary move to where we were last Friday, okay, 127.51. Now if we continue making this correction, we can actually continue rallying and possibly going, making this complete recovery back to where we were before the decision, because in actuality nothing has really changed. The markets and the policies in the UK are still consistent with what they were 2 weeks ago. So this is a reactionary move, and at the end of the day nothing has changed. So we have to look at how that unfolds during the week. Gold has been very quiet, 1268 as well. I'd like to look at this as well as the Fed rate decision comes out this evening, so keep an eye on that. Oil has been on the dumps, $45. 95 cents per barrel. Now we had a little bit of a bounce earlier this week. This is a daily chart, so you can't see it so much, but we did have a small bounce, and then we dipped below this $47 range, and we're slowly going back to $45. So keep an eye on this as this unfolds. The JSE also has been very weak. Okay, we've sold off from our high of 48,419. We had this resistance level, we spoke about this last week, and then now we're breaching this 45,860 and closing off to a much lower level. Now this is a Fibonacci we set up earlier, and you can see that it pretty much respected this level of 44-ish thousand level right here. So, you know, if we do continue breaking this further, we could definitely see it go down to this 43,800-ish level, you know, further in the retracement of it. Now that's, you know, that's as far as we can go for it. But, you know, what's beautiful about this chart is that you see how much we've come along, right? And the weakness of the ZAR is in response to this. Now, what's not very encouraging here is that we have some quadruple tops of 48,419. That's why this level was so important to short here at the top, you know, because we hit it multiple times. So that was a tremendous entry, and, you know, I'm just, you know, highlighting the fact that, you know, when you do technical analysis over a longer period of time, the more solidified, the more validated it is, and this is a case in point in that. So looking at the Dow Jones, we are at all-time highs, 21,270. We're just selling off by 10 points this morning, 10 handles this morning, nothing really major, but we are at our dead highs. Now, this could have one or two effects depending on the Fed rate decision. The Fed rate decision may come out and they may increase interest rates, would show that the economy is doing well and everything is, you know, and they want to just keep it on tap, that there's no inflation, and, you know, we don't go too crazy with the market. So that might have a reactionary move on the downside, okay, believe it or not, because the initial reaction to that is that, hey, you know, the Fed rate is going to make it more expensive for people to borrow money if they increase the rate, and that means that it's going to cost more money. So people are going to be less inclined and they're going to hold off from borrowing money as much. So that could be one reactionary move to it. Now, if they keep it stable, you know, we can continue going up higher because the market has been very, very, very hot. Like, I mean, we're looking at a weekly chart here, and you see, I mean, it's just been a monster for the past 5 years, you know, at least. So it's just been continuously going up quite aggressively, and we are at our dead highs. So there's really, you know, no limit to how much further this could necessarily go. But keep in mind that we are on our dead highs, and, you know, it's harder to break higher at some point, but, you know, the momentum is still upwards. Looking at the USD CAD, we had a tremendous reversal here, and we're just settling down at 32.24. We're looking at a daily chart, but this thing has really been dead in the waters, and no real sign of any, you know, place to really pick it up. A little bit of a support here at 32.24. So let's see if we do get this bounce, and if you're looking to play something outside or trade something outside the USD, or less related to the USD CAD is more related to the oil. So this might be a good play for you. So let's see if this actually bounces, and possibly will be a tremendous trade. So again, this evening, Fed rate decision, 8 o'clock. South African time, major number. If you're able to trade it quickly and you have the agility to do it, it's a tremendous potential. Wish everybody a great trading day, and thank you.